So, have you ever taken a job where they promise you great base salary, fantastic bonuses, fantastic coworkers, great location, great hours, everything looks perfect, and so you decide to buy a home in the area, you move there, and then after you get your first paycheck, you realize it's only a fraction of what they promised, and now you're stuck with this high mortgage and not nearly enough pay. That's where we are in MAGA land as they're going to wake up to figure out that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are absolutely great at selling you lies and a bunch of nonsense, but absolutely abysmal when it comes to delivering on all of their fake promises. I want to show you guys what's going on in the world today and the markets, and let's jump right in. This is the headlines here. Dow tumbles more than 260 points for 9-day losing streak. That's its longest since 1978. You also got this coming out today. Stock market today, Dow extends a losing streak. Bitcoin briefly tops 108,000. Sure, you definitely have some euphoria still in a bubble, crypto and in your Teslas. I can see it. That's essentially Musk and Trump promises. And the question is, when is MAGA land going to wake up and realize it's just a bunch of hype?
But a lot of E. And how many orbs? Just an orb or
Just one orb. Yeah, that's all you need. Just
one orb?
spam
Okay.
spam a bunch of E's, and then kind of right when his health bar shows up, or right after, just throw one orb on top of where you've been spamming all the E.
Ah!
Hit him! Hit him! Hit him!
Ah! Go! Get him! Get him! Get him! Okay.
Nice! Nice!
Okay.
What's he up to? He's playing video games again. This is Elon Musk, Path of Exile 2, Arbiter of Ash. That's a video game. He says here, I played over Starlink in an airplane. Starlink is so good that you can play real-time video games while airborne. And that's what he's up to. Fox came out with a poll. They're trying to paint things in a rosy scenario, which we're actually going to go through the data because it's not as rosy as you think it might be. But essentially, remember, we're talking about a bunch of promises, but they're going to fail to deliver. It says here, this is from Fox, they say majority of Americans optimistic about Trump agenda. Poll finds despite tariff concern. And again, we're going to look at some data in a moment here. And they got another poll. It's actually really interesting to see what Americans are thinking. Americans end 2024 with grim economic outlook, but Republicans are optimistic for 2025. So you definitely have a split on like essentially who believes Trump lies and who doesn't, who believes in Elon Musk is the best CEO in the world and who doesn't. And then you got this. And I always try to go show you guys everything going on as best I can. We're worried about demand in China. So oil prices are down a bit. And this is actually really important to not just focus on, just your neck of the woods, focus on everything going on all around the world because it affects all of us, right? So, for example, now we use Apple as an example because it's an easy one. If Apple wants to sell iPhones, they got to make sure people are going to buy it. And if people say, for example, in China aren't buying iPhones, or we're using an example, not just China, let's say people in India aren't buying iPhones, or people in UK aren't buying iPhones, or people in Australia aren't buying iPhones, right? If people aren't buying iPhones, it's hard for Apple to make money, and it sort of bleeds out together. So that's why you look at all these things at the same time. And right now we're worried about demand in China. And then you have real concerns by real people. Essentially, global housing is way too expensive right now. Wall Street Journal ran a story regarding some new data coming from the IMF. And basically, housing affordability is down. It's the lowest since 2008. And unfortunately, neither Trump nor Musk are doing things to address this issue. They're too busy tweeting, playing golf, and video games. And one of the things that's going on, which is fascinating, is you have a real competition and divide between companies or which are going to succeed in this environment, which are not. This was big news that just popped up, and I actually didn't know this was in the works. Nissan might merge with Honda. And it was funny because their sales numbers talking about Nissan aren't awful, but I guess their profitability is down. Honda, it says here, sold 1.7 million cars in the first half of 2025. Nissan sold 1.6 million. So they're still selling cars, but I guess the problem is, they're just not making as much profit. Essentially, the cheaper Chinese cars are coming in, and those are really, really slim margins. They're also, value-wise, they're very, very popular around the world. And then you got Toyota. They're still selling cars, 5.4 million And that's the first half of the year. The funny thing about a lot of these articles, and these are the Western-based ones, they always say, they kind of leave out what's going on in the Korean market. Here it's funny because whenever we're at least, and you know, there could be some Korean bias in the Korean market, but they do show you real numbers where Kia and Hyundai seem to be doing okay. They're really picking up ground, and I don't know why. You know what? I do know why. It's because it's harder for you guys to buy Korean stocks, so that's why they would not put in the Korean stuff in here. The Korean market, the stock market is really, really different than other markets to where they're a little bit more closed. So it's harder for you guys to invest, say, in the USA. You can buy a Korean ETF, but you can't necessarily just buy, you know, Samsung or Hyundai so easily. So I think that's why they leave it out here. But I was just mentioning that. I was thinking about this together. And then you got this. Starbucks is thinking about going on strike. And again, I'm trying to paint you guys a fuller picture of everything, you know, not just what Fox News says or not just what Musk or Trump say, to kind of look at everything. The workers, they said something like 98% of the workers said that they're not necessarily going to go on strike for sure, just they authorized it during the negotiations. It's the same as you know, many workers around the world, they feel like they're not making enough money, which totally makes sense because housing affordability is down, which we talked about with the IMF data that recently came out. And you got this, then you got companies screwing you the consumer, and also you, the worker. This was Grubhub, and I'll read the headline here. It says Grubhub to pay $25 million in FTC settlement over harmful practices against diners and workers. Lena Khan over the FTC, who I'm a huge fan of. I always say positive things about Lena Khan because she's doing a good job. This is what she says here. She says, our investigation found that Grubhub tricked its customers, deceived its drivers, and unfairly damaged the reputation revenues of restaurants that did not partner with Grubhub. It's funny, when you talk about Grubhub, it kind of sounds like Elon Musk and Donald Trump. They're tricking customers, they're deceiving drivers, and they're damaging reputations of people who don't work with them. That's literally what it's just like Musk and Trump. It's funny how all these things kind of converge together. And then the reason why they do these things, why they basically lie and they cheat people, is all in order to drive scale and accelerate growth, right? But Lena Khan called them out on it, and it was interesting because I don't use Grubhub, and you guys can comment on that. They were saying sometimes the delivery fees may change. It'd be like kind of surprise fees or junk fees, as you say. And she's cracking down on that, and they fined them. You also got this, and this is kind of funny, and this is where you get this divergence between the stuff that Trump tried to says and the stuff that's really going on. This is December 16th headline. Trump claims, quote, massive mandate. So he's saying, everybody voted me. I'm so awesome. But presidents often overread their victories. I just checked the numbers. He's under 50% in terms of popular vote. It's like right at 49. And we'll see if we can get that 50. I'm not sure if they're still counting or not. You guys can let me know an update on that. But he's at 49. And essentially what we're looking at here, and this is actually the data I wanted to show you guys. It's really interesting. This is coming from the AP, and I think it's like the University of Chicago poll here. And it says, views of the economy have been negative in recent years. Now, it depends who you ask, but overall, people are negative. So the most recent data that we have here, and it's actually Republicans are more negative than the Democrats here. They're rating the economy at 16. Overall is 32 when you ask all Americans what do you think about the economy, and I think this is from 0 to 100. And then Democrats trying to rate a little bit higher at 51. Also depends on which party affiliation you are, depending on what you think about the economy. And this digs more into the data, dividing out independents. So if you think the economy is okay, right? Overall, it's 32% say that, so only a third. Democrats 51% say it. Independents lower at 22%, and Republicans even lower at 16%. So they're feeling poor about the economy. You take a look at household income, significant factor in your views of the economy. And it's interesting because you can kind of put the numbers together. So I think you guys can get this. So if you make less than 50,000, you only have a positive view of economy at 25%. If you make between 50 to 100, your positive affiliation of the economy is only 34%. And then if you make over six figures, you're thinking, okay, 41% of you think the economy is all right. So it depends on your particular income, depends on your particular political affiliation, how you're feeling about how things are going. You also got this, views of economic improvement in 2025, right? So do you think Trump's going to make things better or not? That's kind of the question. And Republicans, they're feeling positive. 69% of them think, yeah, things are going to get better. Independents at 39. Democrats say no, it's not going to get better at 11. And overall, only 38% of the people think it's going to get better in 2025. And so again, that is obviously not a majority, right? So not many people are going to think it's going to get better. And this actually data was the one that the Fox News was citing. That was the Monmouth poll. And their headline was optimism about Trump policies tempered by concern over tariff impact. So basically, they were trying to put together, and then this is Republicans think that they're looking forward to the Trumpers coming in, but I think it was like 53% of them were thinking that Trump could make things better, but the margin of error was 3.9%. And it was actually really interesting when you dig through all of this data, and this is sort of what the stuff that really captures what's going on. So remember, Trump is promising you those tariffs, and he's saying, tariffs are going to save you. It's going to save everybody. It's going to make everything awesome. Impose tariffs on goods imported from other countries. So the first question is, these policies will have a direct impact on your family. 72% said yes, the tariffs are going to have a direct impact on our families. That's when you ask Americans. 47% said it will hurt them. Only 23% said it'll help them, which is really interesting. So very few people think that tariffs are going to help them personally. Trump voters, for whatever reason, they think 45% of them think it's going to help them. It shows you how deluded they are. You also got this, then you compare it to Harris voters. Only 4% think that Trump's tariffs are going to help them. 86% think it's going to hurt them. And then you got people who are, I guess these are either independents or non-voters. They only 20% think that the tariffs are going to help them. And you go through all of these data, and it's kind of roughly the same. People don't think Trump's policy is going to help them. So it's actually funny when you look through this stuff. I'll give you another one. This is at the bottom, and I'm leaving this up there. You guys can look at any one that you want. This was the mass deportation of immigrants illegal in USA. So Trump's saying we're going to use the military, we're going to kick out all the dark people. So 41% say that it'll actually directly affect their lives. And then when you ask Americans, 23% say that it'll help them to kick out all the dark people. 17% say it'll hurt them, right? So these are the numbers. Even among Trump voters, only 46% say that it would actually help them. And then in terms of helping, Harris voters say only 4% is actually going to help. And then non-voters, right, only 19% is going to help. And so when you look at a lot of these policies, very little that Trump is proposing think that's going to help them. I'm just telling you guys what the polling data shows. And then also says here, few are confident in Trump's ability to assemble a qualified cabinet. Here's how the data shakes out. Overall, 27% of Americans think are extremely or very confident that Trump can find a qualified cabinet. You also have this, 5% of Democrats think he can do it, and 58% of Republicans can. You also got this one, what Americans think about Trump and effective management of government spending. 28% feel extremely or very confident he can do it. Then you got 4% of Democrats think he can do it, and 59% of Republicans. So it definitely splits along party lines, but I'm showing you both and the aggregate. And overall, though, I don't think Americans are too confident in Trump's ability to turn it around in 2025. And it's funny how it breaks down partisan lines, and a lot of the stuff breaks down like that. But the thing is, though, is I'm putting this together with understanding what's really happening, right? When you see that housing prices are still unaffordable, you see people are going on strike, you'll see that people ultimately wake up to realize, oh my God, these Teslas and Bitcoins is a total scam. You'll figure out very quickly that all the promises that they were made, right, be it the MAGA people, be it the Musk people, et cetera, or Musk can't deliver on his robots or whatever stupid thing that he's promising, they're going to wake up to the reality, and then we'll finally hopefully have some sanity in our markets and in our world. Now, for you guys at home, I'm sure you guys have some sanity. That's why we watch this together. And oftentimes people say, they just feel like the world has gone crazy and there's not that many places that you can hang out and have some actual conversations with people. But you found it right here. And I hope you come back for more, and I'll catch you all in the next video.